Hi, and welcome to Sophia's Emporium. Sophia's Emporium. Wow. It's been 3 weeks since I've done any recording live on Zoom. There's been a lot going on. I've had a couple upgrades, and we also went through a retrograde, which did quiet me for a bit. But I've got some exciting things going on, and obviously you can see I wasn't ready to record today. But this meeting was scheduled, and I thought it'd be a nice time to say hi to everybody. And I know really nobody knows I'm doing this, but this is all for my grandkids one day. So I have a special edition of Sophia's Emporium today, and it's book club. And the name of the story is St. Jerome and the Lion. Now, this is an old book. It was given to Chris with love from Aunt Jeannie and Uncle Larry, Christmas of 1966. And no, this wasn't my kin. This is a used book, guys, but there's always a story. So why don't we find out what that is? And this is St. Jerome and the Lion by Rumer Godden. Drawings by Jean Primrose. And this is MACMILLAN CO Ltd, limited edition, 1961. Okay, so here's the first picture. And it starts out like this. To Bethlehem, with its white stone and towers, its brown hills and larks sing, and its unexpected flowers. Iris, anemones, scillas, and cyclamen that scatter the bare gullies to Bethlehem, where Christ was born, came the great St. Jerome, with his red hat and his Bible, seeking from the stir and dust of Rome peace for holiness and study, and built a convent on a hill to be his home. With him came brother monks, some wise in books, some farmed wheat, vine, olives. Some were gardeners, cooks, or wove wool from the monks' habits, or cured leather for their sandals, but altogether kept the strict rule: we work to live and live to pray. Even the hens were trained to lay eggs clean enough for angels while at break of day. The cocks did study, crowing 3 times to wake the brothers. The ass was panniered, and though naughty, learned to make useful journeys. Oxen plodded, turning the wheel to mill the grains. The lambs gave their fleece wool. Even the fish were caught for Fridays. None was idle, and burning his light all night, Jerome kept vigil, as into the people's Latin he translated the Bible. One February, there came an afternoon when the hill villages and fields around the Covenant shone, painted with light. Each cypress threw its shadow. The clear young blue of the sky was shrill with larks. In the springtime of the year, the brothers took their recreation out of doors. They needed recreation just as you need yours. In the long day of work and prayer, an hour's welcome pause. They came down the lane, chattering at their ease, and watched the wind blow green and silver in the olive trees, when all at once there came a dreadsome sound that broke the air and shook the ground. Rolling it from hill to hill, it seemed to hem the world in thunder, and onto that quiet path that led to Bethlehem, a great maned lion stepped, not 20 yards from them. Another picture. Hurt. The brothers scattered like swallows. Their cries came back on the wind as they ran, calling sweet Mary's name to save them. Nor did one wait to help another, but pell-mell, and at the gate they tumbled and slammed it fast with bolt and lock. St. Jerome was left outside, unmoved as a rock. He stayed as a good shepherd stays, who has to guard his flock. God be with me, he prayed, but still the lion came on, roaring to split the sky, the but now his tone seemed to the saint more hurt than angry. And then he saw this lion limped on 3 legs. One front paw hung swollen, bleeding in misery, had furrowed his face that the saint could see he had not come to devour, but to ask for charity. For 3 nights and days the lion had not slept. His flanks were thin, his gold eyes wept, as he wandered in pain and fever, roaring, as if asking, why should a lion suffer? A weasel or goat or bad servant, but I, the king of beasts, to find a thorn such woe? He had fallen into a thicket of thorns a week ago, and one had festered. All this St. Jerome seemed to know, and laid his hand on the hot snuff-colored brow. Lord Jesus is the King of Kings, he said, but I shall read you how. He suffered with 100 thorn-wreath pricks. The lion listened thoughtfully. He gave the hand lion licks to show his pity, and tried to sink his roaring to a moan. Lord Jesus, then his beast is not alone. And he limped up to the convent gate with St. Jerome. They knocked and smiled at one another now to find it locked. The brothers opened trembling, but when they saw Jerome come walking in with the lion, they were dumb with amazement and shame at leaving their master outside. Punish us, they implored him, but Jerome only cried, bring herbs, hot water, and linen. Then, with as much fuss as if a pride of lions were wounded, they set about bathing the paw. First they pulled the long thorn out. The operation was painful. The lion could not help a howl, which, looking up into Jerome's face, he hastily sank to a growl, and his pus streamed out to a whimper. Then when the paw was poulticed and dressed, came a sound that made a stir. Through the whole convent, a contented, happy rumbling that was a lion's purr. A gentle time passed that helped to heal the paw. The lion was given a cell with a bed of the cleanest straw, and kept the convent hours and shared the convent food. When the brothers sang in choir and said their mass, he stood quiet outside the chapel door, or else he lay with his front paws put together as if to say, I am a Christian lion now, and I too can pray. But a day came that made the heart of every brother grieve. The paw was healed, and the lion was well enough to leave. So they blessed him and set him free, opening the convent gate. But he did not go, but flattered himself at St. Jerome's feet and wagged his tail. When they tried to make him move, he growled under his breath, but at once, to show his love, panted the saint with a paw made of as soft as a velvet glove. Now for a solemn conclave, Jerome put on his red hat, and around him in the choir, the other brothers sat. We admit the lion, said one of the monks. I move. But a crabbed old monk got up and said, I don't approve. A lion is always a lion. This is a wild beast still, not to be trusted with lambs or chickens, for he has to make his kill. I trust him, said St. Jerome, and the lion thumped his tail. He was admitted, but now there arose a new problem. What work could the lion do? If he lived in a convent, he must keep the convent rule. But lions cannot lay eggs or be ridden or sheared for wool. For 2 days the brothers debated, but the lion was quite content to attend on St. Jerome wherever he came and went. And says artists have always painted him in every picture of the saint. At last, the youngest brother came, hands in his sleeves, to ask permission to speak. We are short-handed, yet it is still my task to take the ass each day to pasture, watching over her there, for you know ass nature is willful indeed. Then to fetch firewood we go on to the woodsman. If the lion could guard her, My task is gone. But would he agree as the saint and stopped, for an affable rumbling came from the lion. Summer and autumn, and winter and spring. After Mass had been said each pleasant morning, the ass went to graze, most modestly, for she respected the lion's eye. He had only to rumble and bristle his whiskers, and though there was still those baneful whispers, he trotted her back in time for vespers, and her panniers full, and after taking his evening meal, waiting first for grace, he stretched himself by Jerome's table, and sometime all night they conned the Bible. Our lion, praised the brothers, has grown so mild he could truly be led by a little child. He's a beast, said the crabbed old monk, a beast and wild. It was high summer. The hazy noonday's tropical heat lay on the land, and the ass's lazy rhythmical cropping close by his nose. As the lion kept guard, made his eyelids close. He had been up all night. 40 winks, then he opened an eye, but the little she-ass was still close by, and he fell asleep stertorously. Up went her heels, and off the ass ran, to tread down the crops while stuffing her mouth, till a caravan with bells that gonged came along the road. Merchants and drivers, dark-faced, white-robed, and camels with trappings, their harness inlaid with scarlet. The line of their great humped shadows swayed beside them. They were going down to Egypt to trade carpets for oil. And when they saw the ass wandering loose in the fields, they caught her with a rope and noose. Then we must buy hay and corn for her feed. A quick little ass will be useful to lead our slow-stepping camels. The ass did not even nicker or bray. She liked that talk of corn and hay. Soon even their dust had dwindled away. Oxen stabled, lambs in fold, every chicken in its coop. Benediction was over, and with the smell of incense and candles, onion soup filled the convent fragrantly, and in the long refectory, a napkin, bowl, and barley loaf showed where each brother was to sit. The little bronze oil lamps were lit and shone like fireflies, but still the brothers stayed to flit like brown-robed shadows up and down, seeking, crying round the gate. The empty stall, the lion's untouched plate, made sad forebodings. The old monk gloated, imp of sin. He meant the lion. Let us go in and have our supper. Jerome could not break a crust without his friend. Again he said, I trust the lion. Then late, in the dust they saw a figure, desperate, prone, as carved by grief, as if in stone. It was a lion, and alone. Chapter 2. Where is the ass? The brothers flocked round the gateway, angry and shocked. Where is the ass? But beasts are dumb, nor could the lion weep. His eyes were numb. With his first fault, the old monk chortled. You see your good Christian lion despised our food and has eaten the ass. I said he would. With sticks and stones, they pelted to drive the lion outside. Away with you, heart of hearts. Glutton, thief, they cried. You can fill your greedy belly for yourself, you sinner. And who took our pretty ass to eat for dinner? Go. Finish her off before the vultures rob you, as you have robbed us, until with a howl, a lion's sob, he ran to Jerome and hid his face in the saint's robe. Gentle, my brothers, said Jerome, consider, are these ways meant to touch the heart of one who has sinned and make him penitent? No. Treat him, I ask, as before, and let him still be fed. And do not nag at him and make him wretched. Only, and here the saint spoke gravely to the lion's face, as through him we have suffered and lost our little ass. The lion must be our servant, exactly as she was. A king to wear harness, be domestic, the very stones would laugh. to see a lion carrying faggots home along the public path. I will not, growled the lion and rumbled dangerously under his breath. With a few strokes of his paw, I could mangle you all to death. From the saint's stern eye, it seemed that a dart of light struck the lion. For the strong to be strong is easy, but there is a better part. For the strong to submit and be gentle is perfect of heart. The pattern is our Lord Jesus. This without a word being said, and the lion gave a sigh. It rent him like a tornado and bowed his head. For a beast to school himself is hard, the lion grew thin. His claws would often come out, though he fought to keep them in. And often he bristled with anger, for to make him feel his disgrace when the brothers chased to meet him, each would turn his face, and when they came to a chapel, they shoot him from his place. He was denied his cell and slept in the ass's stall. His golden body, not used to harness, had so many a rub and gall that he was ashamed to appear in the study and lay out in the corridor, wakeful. For he had lost an animal's innocent snore, but his mane shone like a halo, and slowly he grew so meek that when the brothers rebuffed him, he turned the velvet cheek. Yet still his penance dragged on for a week after weary week. One evening as he trotted home, he had learned to trot with the faggots. As if prompted, he came to a sudden stop and turned aside to where the lane joined the Damascus Egyptian road, and waited there, not knowing why, until a dust cloud showed coming nearer. His ears pricked, excitement rippled under his skin, his whiskers twitched, his tail tuft trembled, and deep in his throat a warning rumbled. Soon, in the dust, he saw men dark-faced, white-robed, and strung, one behind the other camels. Trappings and harness swung, and the bell notes gonged. It was a caravan come up, rich, laden from Egypt and traveling home. The lion looked nearer. His golden eyes grew astonished, and his heart began to swell with royal anger, for there, in front of the camels and bridle and tinkling bell, Finnigton dotted a little she-ass that he knew very well. Up to heaven went his furious roar. His harness splintered. Faggots were scattered as he bore down on the caravan. Men fled to the fields. The camels plunged after the men. But the lion was a skillful drover now, and he rounded them up again. One quick growl, and the ass and she became nimble, sedate, and if she had never been away, led the camels straight off the road, up the lane, and the lion drove them all in at the convent gate. He raced to find St. Jerome, tugging at his gown, and in and out of corridors chased the brothers up and down, pushing, pulling. The devil is in him, they cried. Fetch the bell and the book. Not the devil, said Jerome. His good angel, look how he brought to justice. In a minute, every soul he gathered in the courtyard, where the lion in full control made the milling camels kneel to show the she-ass untouched, alive, and whole. The monks knelt too, asking his pardon, and no longer sad and melancholic, the lion patted them to stand upright, then began to bound and frolic through the convent, flattering himself before each brother, wagging his tail as if to say, we forgive each other. And each blessed him. He bounded up to race back to St. Jerome, then to the ass, back to the saint. It was pure joy, no trace of righteousness except pride. When he met the old monk, it was the lion who turned away his face. A brother aired the lion's cell, strewing sweet herbs to make his bed. Others swept his place by the chapel and put down a carpet of cardinal red. The brother cooks in the kitchen took counsel of what he liked to eat, and asked leave, though it was Friday, to brim his plate with meat. When the day was over and the shadows filled the evening sky, The lion came in the study, and where he used to lie, stretched himself by a table with a contented sigh. He is purring, whispered to the brothers, and tiptoed, saying, "Glory to God on high." Chapter 3. What are the camels? Late that night, a timid knocking was heard, and the merchants stood outside, too ashamed to speak a word. But the brothers had learned a lesson. They let the merchants in and gave them back their camels, nor did anyone mention the sin of stealing away the ass. From this day, said the wiser brothers, we shall let God sift good and evil. Then from their Egyptian cruises, the merchants made such a gift. They would keep the covenant in an oil for a year, using a convent thrift. And we shall bring more, they said, next year as we pass by on our camels. But first, please, you must tie up your lion. In Bethlehem, with its white stone and towers, this story blossomed long ago, and as flowers are pressed to keep before they fade, a scholar wrote it in old Latin and made it into a book. The brothers are quiet now. No convent stands upon the hill. Jerome is with the saints, and I am sure that by God's will, through the hat and the Bible were left behind, the lion is with him still. So, one day, Leela and Chloe and Rourke, this story will be here for you. And I just want you to always remember that every day, Grandma thinks about you, and she holds sacred space for you, and she prays for you and your mom and your dad. I'm always talking to Leela. Well, like I said, forgive me that I wasn't made up and pretty and ready to go today, but it was time for the story to be read. I've been listening a little to Jay Essex today, and this is the 19th of October, 2016. And Jay's one of those strong lines, but his message for us, of course, is that once we get outside of our physical bodies, that's where our true strength comes in. And they know who everybody is. And he's doing some upgrades for people these days. So I just wanted to send Jay my love. I know that we haven't spent time together in this physicality, one-on-one, getting to know each other, but I know your family. And I just want to send my appreciation and love. So it's a very short episode of Sophia's Emporium today. And I look forward to seeing you guys all very soon. I've got some exciting new things. And I've been making a little iMovie about it. So with that, namaste and much love to the world. Keep the faith, guys. We're going home. And it's going to be okay.